Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zara and today I'm going to be doing the Finally Full book tag. I was tagged by the incredible Joanna. I will link her video and her channel down below. She is amazing. She reads a lot of fantasy, amazing fantasy as well. We have a lot of similar tastes actually. So if you haven't checked her out before, you should definitely go and check her out now. And without further ado, I'm going to jump into the tab. So the first one is name a book with a vivid setting. So for this one, I picked The Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty. This is the second book in the Daevabad trilogy. This series in general is just fantastic, but she's really able to create these really wonderful, magical settings. She does the world building so well that you feel like you're there. Like you never feel like you don't know what the streets look like or what the buildings look like. You very much feel like it's alive. And I think she just did a really fantastic job of creating this wonderful Middle Eastern inspired setting that just feels incredibly vivid. And I really can't wait to reread this series at some point because of that. A book that is beautifully written but also deals with a heavy topic like loss or grief. I haven't read that many books about loss or grief, not necessarily where it's the central plot. One that came to mind when I read this prompt was And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer by Frederick Bachman. It's a very, very short story. It's like, I think it's like 100 pages. But you're essentially following, it's kind of like an intergenerational story where you follow the grandfather, the father, and the son. And the grandfather is slowly forgetting certain aspects of life. And it's really, really sad, but it's really beautiful because you go through this journey with the characters about the memories that they've forged together. It never felt insensitive. It just felt very honest. And yeah, very, very beautiful. And Bachman is definitely a favorite contemporary author of mine. I think he's just phenomenal. He always covers really interesting themes in his books and I can't wait to read more of them. Share a nonfiction book that taught you something new. So I read a lot of nonfiction, literally most books, I learned something from it. Even if it's a terrible book, I learned that it's a terrible book. The book that came to mind was The History of the United States by Howard Zinn. This book changed my perception about certain things about the US. I think everybody should read it, especially Americans. It's wonderful. It talks about the origins of the US, the Native Americans, and then it talks about how the US kind of became this powerhouse that it is today and how the US has played such a critical role in so many different aspects of our life. And it's fantastic. Howard Zinn is an amazing writer. Never felt dense, and I strongly recommend it. Name a fictional family, household, or friend group that you would like to be a part of. There's so many that I could put for this. I'd love to be in the Three Musketeers. I'd love to be, even though they're not necessarily a friendship group, I'd love to be a part of that First Law group that go on their travels in book 2. I'd totally be a part of that group. It's just so funny. And then, but the one that I actually chose was the kind of group of friends that kind of follow Corbin from The Faithful and the Fallen by John Gwynne. They're all just very like honorable people. They try to do what's right. And in my opinion, you can't really go wrong with a group of people like that. It landed on my top. That was terrible. Show us a pair of fall-coloured spines. I mean, there's some red ones there. Fall is like red and brown and stuff, right? I mean, there's some like reddy browns. I don't really colour coordinate my books, so apologies. But you can see some like browny, reddy, green ones. I don't know. I think I totally failed that prompt, but oh well. Share a book wherein somebody is telling a story. So the one that I picked for this is the Saxon Stories by Bernard Cornwell. The first book is The Last Kingdom. I think 6 books are out now. I've read the first 4. I have the 5th book, I just haven't read it. But you are being told the story from the perspective of Uhtred, who is the main character, and he is recounting the story to his child, if I remember correctly. And it's a good time. I feel like the series has dragged on a little bit based on some of the reviews that I've seen. But I will get to it eventually. It's just so many other things that I need to read first. Share a dark, creepy read. So I don't really read dark or creepy books. So I'm going to share a dark, creepy show that I'm watching at the moment. And that's unsurprisingly Squid Game. My brothers both peer pressured me into watching it. So I'm watching it now. And it is dark and scary and very creepy. And if you don't like violence, I definitely wouldn't recommend watching it. It's really strange, but it's good. Name a short, heartwarming read that could warm up somebody's cold and rainy day. I don't really read heartwarming reads. I read a lot of dark books, but the one that came to mind is a book that I have mentioned on my channel a couple of times, but that's because it's that good. And that is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Siennes. I've definitely said his surname wrong, I apologize. But it is a beautiful story Whenever I think about that story, my heart warms. It's just so touching. It covers so many different themes: identity, loyalty, relationships, family. There's just so much in it, and it's just so beautiful. And it's like one of the few books that like actually made me very emotional. I strongly recommend it. It's 3 or 4 books that I recommend to everyone because I think everyone can take something from it. Name an old favorite that you'd like to return to soon. Randomly, Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. I haven't read any Brandon Sanderson for a while now. The last book that I read was The Emperor's Soul back in like February, which I loved. Amazing. I gave it 5 stars. One of the few novellas that I've really enjoyed. I kind of miss his writing a little bit, and I don't really want to start anything new of his because I think I've read all of his standalones now at this point, and I don't want to start any new series yet of his. I think there's one standalone that I haven't started, but it's quite big. It's like 400 pages, so I'm not really interested in reading that just yet. And it's The Many Lives of like Stephen something, I can't remember. But I would like to reread Warbreaker because that has got to be one of my favorite books of Brando Sando, and I would like to reread it again. All right, on to the last one. So share your favorite cozy reading accessories. I like a blanket. I like a nice soft blanket. I like a nice candle that smells nice and warms up my apartment. And I also like hot chocolate. But that being said, I haven't had hot chocolate in a very long time, which makes me sad. And you know what? I think I'm gonna go make one now. To be fair, I can read anywhere, but if I have those 3 things, then I'll be pretty happy. There we go. That was the last one. So firstly, I just want to say thank you so much, Joanna, for tagging me. I had fun doing this one. This is one that I've not really seen around that much, and it was a good time. I'm not going to tag anybody because I've seen quite a few people tagged, and probably all the people that I would tag have probably been tagged already. So, you know, if you want to do it, then obviously feel free to do it and let me know because I'd love to watch your video. Otherwise, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one. Take care, stay safe, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.